we're taking the integral of r squared. There's going to be a cross term which has... There's going to be a cross term which has a cosine theta plus b cosine theta times the square root of that stuff. That's going to be really gross. It is possible that that's going to include a it's possible that that's going to include a like secant or something like that, whatever the integral of x root x squared, whatever it is, it's going to be. I know that's not really helpful, sorry. So what we actually can do here okay. Yes. Yes. Okay. So if you were within some sort of rotational vortex, I think I got it now. This is similar to something that we did in complex analysis. So if you were to start somewhere and then you were to like make a route, again, it doesn't actually matter what shape this is, you would have had to do the same amount of work with your engine to work with the current going in one direction versus against the current in a different direction in order to get back to the same place. So you would have had to do the same amount of work in every single direction in order to get back to the exact same place. If you decided to just kind of like go with the flow, as it were, start here and then go around the origin point, then you're doing a lot less work overall. You could, in fact, like just turn the engine off and let it go around in a circle around the origin. Now, you know, whatever actually is going on with the circulate, I don't know, whatever. But it would have, like, it would have taken you a non-zero effort. In other words, this is like when you're talking about work, right? If you pick something up and then put it back down again, you've done no work, but obviously your muscles don't agree. In this case, right, if you're doing... If you have turned off your engine and you just go with the flow around in a circle or whatever shape this is, then ended up back in the same place, then that is the circulation. Like the amount that you've traveled could be thought of as the circulation for this. If you went out into random space and made a circle out here, or any other shape for that matter, you do any sort of shape out here, which is not including the origin itself, then you have, again, gone around in that shape, and you've done the sum of all of the pieces of that end up becoming 0. I get it now. Okay. Hey Don, how's it going? Everything go pretty well on your end? Saw some DayZ was up for tonight. Doing some murders. And Nep. So when we're talking about the tangent, we don't actually know what the tangent is yet, but if I were to convince you that this is supposed to be tangent of alpha, right, then we could look at this in terms of our radius and the thing that I said is tangent of alpha. And then I could also create a similar triangle here where we do know that this is our y value and this is our x value in terms of its distances. And you can see, right, the x and the y are the horizontal vertical distances of this particular triangle. They are the two legs of our unit circle triangle. But if we look at the big one with tangent, these are also the two legs, the tangent of alpha here and r here. Then we can set this up as a proportion, which says that the tangent of alpha divided by r, so this is, as we know it, opposite over adjacent, is equal to opposite over adjacent is y over x. Realistically, we could also say, well, this has been scaled up by a size of r, or we can scale it down by a size of r to let it be just the radius is 1, in which case this stuff just goes away, and we get that the tangent of alpha is equal to y over x. This becomes a super important result. Whole mess of polar coordinates? Yeah. Yeah, we were looking at Edzu's question was about circulation, and so if we look at the circulation of a particular the circulation of a fluid with given velocities u sub theta of r being whatever they're going to be, where the curve c is a circle that does not include the origin. And Edzu was saying that if the book says that if the curve does not include the origin, doesn't even matter what kind of curve it is, if the curve does not include the origin, then the circulation is 0. And I was thinking about something in complex analysis, which basically says the same thing, where if you make some sort of path, a closed path, that is not including the origin or a particular pole, then the curve integral is going to be equal to 0. Irrotational vortex. Okay. Okay, so it can't be like what I drew with the green. It can't go just around in circles like that. This would have to spiral out or spiral in, potentially, to a particular place. And the equations that you gave were going to be some factor times r squared. So that's not a rotational vortex. And v over r, which also should be irrotational, I think. So Calc 3 in most places is vector calculus. So I would agree that that's probably what this is in terms of like American numbers. The Splooey! Hey, how's it going? My name is Obi-Wan Pez. This is N-Simplex Pachinko. Good evening. Welcome. We're doing some math tonight. We're kind of all over the place at the moment. We're doing some vector calculus, talking about circulation measurement, and we're also at the very top left or top right-hand corner there, doing some definitions of trigonometric functions. Holy crap! It's also 2:38 in the morning, so I should probably sign off pretty soon. Yeah. Yep. Yep, if you're using a quarter system, that also typically happens. It all depends on a number of factors, including where you are, what program you're in. Okay, so then there's two other major... No, that's a lie. There's a bunch of other measurements that we have here. So what we have over here at the top end, it's the distance between our origin point and where the tangent touches the x-axis. So that distance sideways here is going to be called the secant of this particular angle, alpha. And again, we can set up a proportion between those two triangles. So the secant of alpha is the hypotenuse of that outer green triangle. And we could put that over r, being the radius, which is the adjacent leg to alpha. Or in this case, alpha prime, which is our reference angle. And then similarly, right, so secant alpha over r is going to be equal to then, on the smaller inner triangle, that was our adjacent, nope, sorry, hypotenuse over adjacent. So r over x. Again, if this is scaled up by a factor of r, then we just get r secant theta over r. So these end up dividing out, and we get r over x is our secant of alpha, or 1 over x if r is just 1 around a unit circle. So we end up with secant of alpha is r over x. Tangent of alpha equals y over x. And then we move to the lower triangle, which is defined by that right angle and these three sides here. So again, our radius, the part that's along the y-axis, and the part that's along the tangent, but in the opposite direction. Here YW, hello. My name is Obi-Wan Pez. This is N-Simplex Pachinko. We're doing some math tonight, talking about, right now, just this is last little bit of trigonometry. It's not terribly difficult. It's just really unorganized right now. I deserve it. No, that was actually good. I want to keep that where it was. If we get rid of that and that. Get that bit. Again, we do this. do this. And then we draw in our angle, a tangent to it. It's pretty close. Okay, and then draw in the rest of that line. Okay, so we had a right angle here. Again, this is our alpha prime. Our actual alpha is here. And interestingly, right by congruent triangles, or sorry, similar triangles, this angle is going to be alpha prime as well. We had a radius. Now, this is where I curse you having used all of these different notations everywhere. Right now, what we're actually doing is we're going to look at the tangent, but it's not to alpha prime anymore. It's the tangent to this angle here, which is the complement, there we go, which is the complementary angle to alpha prime. So what we're going to do is get the complementary tangent of alpha prime to be this distance here. And yes, it is known as the cotangent. Similarly, we're going to look at the distance along here, which is going to be the secant to this orange angle here, which is again the complement of alpha prime. So this was the secant of the other one of just alpha prime. So this is going to be the cosecant of alpha prime. I mean, all those assessments can be true. It's just a matter of perspective. So again, the tangent of that particular angle was the length of the tangent line to that particular angle. We make a physical tangent. just the process. Oh no. So we build an actual physical tangent to that angle along that edge of that circle. And then on the other one, the orange one, we do the same thing. It's just that, what angle is it? Oh, well, it's not the angle we wanted. It's the complement of that angle. So we call it a cotangent. Complementary tangent. All right, so when we go through this, then we've got our same original triangle way in here that had our x and our y values. And then this is a similar triangle to the big one we just created here. They're all similar triangles. So when we build out these similar triangles, then we say, how do we relate the sides to each other? Okay, we get, well, the cotangent of alpha prime compared to r are going to be the two legs of the triangle. This is the adjacent cotangent of alpha prime is adjacent to alpha prime. And then r is opposite alpha prime. That's going to be equal to, we go back to the small triangle, which is here, and we say that the one that is adjacent to alpha prime is x, divided by the one that is opposite it is y. And again, this was scaled up by a factor of r. So r cotangent, just forget that, ends up being cotangent of alpha prime is x over y. So I am actually from, man, it's been a long road. I am currently streaming from the UK, which is why it is now 2:50 in the morning. Let me tell you, math is one hell of a drug. Wake up juice. So I'm actually coming from Maryland in the United States, where I've been teaching for the last 15 years as a associate professor of mathematics at a 2-year college in Maryland. And then before that, I came from New Hampshire. So I went to the University of New Hampshire. And yeah, doing a lot of moving around and crazy stuff like that. All right, for the cosecant, we're doing the same, like divide by r. That's going to be our, this is the hypotenuse divided by our opposite. So the hypotenuse of the small triangle is r, divided by the opposite side is y. Again, this is scaled up, so we get rid of those r's there. So our cosecant of alpha is going to be r over y. So that's how we get our other 4 functions. We could do the same for our sine and cosine in order to understand where those are coming from. Oops. Alright, when we do that, this is y, this is x. This was our alpha prime. And our 1 there, r. So here we talked about our sine function being the ratio between the opposite side and the radius, and then our cosine of alpha prime being equal to x over r. So this is the way that all this is working in terms of like whereabouts we're putting it, what ratios we get when we look at the relationships that exist between all of our side lengths. And man, I can't put this anywhere good. All of our side lengths. Man. Ratios of side lengths of these triangles. Well, thank you. Yeah, so like this stuff again is not particularly hard. It's just dependent upon your individual understanding of where these things are all coming from and where they're going to. So we'll talk more as we go through this. I'm gonna have to I'm gonna have to quit, but just for the night. So I will definitely stream more about mathematics. Anybody who wants to come in, say hi. We'll talk about cool stuff. And I don't know exactly when I'm going to be streaming math next, but yeah, probably fairly soon. Yeah, well, let me know what you are interested in learning about, and one more time we'll shout out other math streamers who are possibly on right now. These are the 7. Dawn Does Math dropped in just a couple minutes ago. Zach, E to the 2i Pi. Penn Center, Ian Stuckey, who rated in earlier. Thank you so much. Obi-Wan Pez, that is me at NSimplex Pachinko. Danny Highway and Dr. Gold at Actual Education are our kind of like core 7 streamers who are getting together and trying to do cool stuff, be math people, play some games together on usually weekends, but we'll see how it goes. So again, thank you so much for coming on in. We'll see if anybody is currently on. I should have actually just typed live. Yes, Penn Center. So we'll go see Penn. And if anybody wants to ask any questions in there, you can also ask in his Discord. I will shout that out as soon as I get over there. So thank you very much, everybody. Good night. This is Obi-Wan Pez for NSimplex Pachinko. That did not pop up. Oh no. Is he not allowing raids? It is possible he's not allowing a raid. Hang on one sec. If he got like some sort of problem, there is the possibility. No, it says start raid. Oh, okay. It says we're already raiding Penn Center, so we're going to go like this, /unraid. Raid has been canceled. Okay, let's try this again. We're having some problems here, apparently. Yeah, paste your favorite theorem in chat. Yes, absolutely. We're having problems, apparently. So if anybody is... Well, that's going to be a problem. Apparently I'm having a problem with this web page for some reason. Hey, there we go. I just had to refresh. All right, so anyway, thank you very much, everybody. We're going to head on over to Penn's channel. So thank you very much. This is Obi-Wan Pez for Ensign Pachinko. We'll see you next time. Did you also not do that? Are we We're apparently having some problems.